Hi, my name is Danya Bayomi, and I'm an artist. I grew up in Jeddah my whole life, and I've spent most of my life here. So my main sources of inspiration for my artwork usually comes from daily lives. Just the boring, mundane things that we do are things that I usually take inspiration from and want to kind of make them more exciting. Since I've been doing murals this whole time, I think that's like the one that I'm most comfortable with. I'm also getting into doing like 3D design and sculpture design. And I think those are like the main things. I need to feel the material that I'm using and the sensation to kind of like get into it. A lot of the work is inspired by Arab culture in general. There's so much of like aesthetically that you can take from our culture, and I think a lot of that is shown in my work in terms of like trying to bring it more like up to date and represent it in a way that's like modern and colorful. The architecture and the treatment that's used in homes is one of my biggest inspirations. I do have a background in interior design, so I think studying that and then like looking back at our traditions and our cultures, it's so rich and there's so much that can be taken away from it. So I wanted to kind of represent Saudi Arabia and Jeddah in a new and exciting way. So I mostly focused on like the landscapes and the architecture and like the main elements that like represent the country. So like the buildings that are known in each of the cities, the patterns that are used in the homes, and I drew inspiration from that. So I looked at a lot of, photos of like old houses and sort of like picked up the patterns that I could use in the designs and sort of like made a library, and then kind of added my own identity to it, which was basically a lot of different colors. And then from there, I just like put things together. I've had friends from around the world that have watched the race that didn't know that I was the one that did the artwork. And then when they found out later on, they like kept saying how it was like amazing to kind of see artwork involved with the Formula One race and how it wasn't expected. So I think it's like very positive to kind of shed light on the creative scene in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if it was necessarily a dream of mine, just because I didn't know that it would be possible. But then to have my artwork shown at the Jeddah Corniche circuit was definitely one of my dreams come true, to kind of do an artwork on such a big scale. Very important to showcase the local talent that we have here. And at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, that was like one of like a defining moment because it does have a lot of exposure. So I do think it was like very exciting and really cool. Personally, I think it shows me that I could pursue art as a career. You could do big things with your art. There are different mediums that you could pursue with your art. It doesn't have to just be on a wall or be in a gallery. There's so many other ways that you could showcase your art, and this was one of them. It's important to showcase the local talent that we have. I think in the past we solely relied on Western standards and Western cultures, and I think currently we're going through like an Arabian Renaissance where we're looking back at our own heritage and our own culture and realizing that we have so much to offer, and showcasing things that like the track race is one of them, where people around the world can really see the talent that's born and bred here. People were pleasantly surprised to find something that was very colorful, that was very relevant to the local culture, but also relevant to racing. Like in addition to the racetrack, I think it was mostly like surprised that something that was like that was presented like art. And so my ambitions moving forward is to explore different mediums and furthermore my artwork and how I could use it in different ways and explore on different mediums, like a swimming pool or a side of a building or an F1 car, you know? So to just kind of take it further and explore different mediums. In 5 years, I see myself working on projects around the world, bringing the culture and heritage that we have here to outside audiences, to collaborate with different artists that are, you know, more experienced in different fields in the creative world, and sort of bridge that gap between the West and here. So when I first came upon the opportunity to participate in showcasing my artwork at the Jeddah Corniche circuit, I was very nervous at the beginning. I wasn't sure of how I would be able to represent my work on such a large scale, where I could combine elements of Saudi Arabia, of racing all together and still show my artistic identity. So I took it as a very fun project. I was probably not gonna win. And then throughout the process, I was able to kind of collect inspiration of the Saudi Arabian landscape and architecture, the patterns that we use in our old homes, the buildings that we have throughout, the famous buildings that we have throughout the cities, the famous roundabouts that we have all around Jeddah, and I tried to combine those together with my identity of using a lot of pattern and color. It was a big moment in my artistic career to kind of have my artwork shown on such a large scale at the Saudi Grand Prix. Being able to bridge that gap of showcasing your artwork at things like the Saudi Grand Prix and the F1 Formula race is very essential and crucial to kind of show that the local talent is booming and we do have our own styles. And I think showcasing something this large on such a large platform that's showcased around the world is very important to our local culture and artists.